Hello and welcome back to this channel. I'm Simon, I'm a Dead for Future. Today we will have a look on which changes would be necessary to do to live carbon dioxide free. But at the same time we will try to maintain the quality of life and the lifestyle as much as possible. So if you're interested in that, so come with me, we'll go back to the computer and have a look on that. In the previous video, I was going through a carbon footprint calculator, and we found out that I produce about 3 to 4 times as much carbon dioxide as it is sustainable. So what you see here is the final result. I put that into Excel, and each of the sources got its own section on this pie graph. The first and biggest part you can see on the right hand side, it's the blue section here, and the blue section corresponds to the consumption of fuel oil in my car mostly. What I can say that most people use their car for commuting, me included. So in one of the following videos, I will look into how to commute and how to replace the car for commuting. Also, I will have a look, is it possible to use renewable energy or renewable fuels in a common diesel car? The second biggest part, the orange one here in front, corresponds to my flying. I was not flying so much last year, but just 3 trips within Europe. But in order to go on here, I decided that we will skip flying completely now, and later on in the video have a look how we can actually replace this long haul transportation by other means, or is it possible to do vacation on in other ways or something like that. So there will be an extra video on that as well. The third one is food and food production, or carbon dioxide related to food production. Here we will have a look onto different foods, on different sources of food, on different ways to prepare food and so on. And I guess there will be one or at least one video on that as well. The yellow part here, it's a car. It's the energy used just for the production of the car. So here I will probably look for repairing my car and running it as long as possible. Also, I mentioned before that I will have a look if I can run a common diesel car on renewable fuel, and I can tell you it's possible. I will show you in a special video. But then also the question is, can I run and repair the car as long as possible, and eventually maybe just skip the car completely. Okay, this is now about 2/3 of the carbon dioxide emissions, and if we take away this, it would be a great step. It will be hard to do, but it might be done. But please have in mind that I initially said that the whole pie chart represents 3 to 4 times as much carbon dioxide as would be sustainable. This means that those small things here, which seem small now, are in fact not small at all. They also have to be paid attention to, and we will have to go through one of each of them as well. But I think those 4 here are the most important. We will start right away, but the others as well. I want to go through them at least to have a look, and then we will have later to decide which one we will approach in more detail in a video. So we go on with recreational activities. They produce carbon dioxide from transportation, from production of goods, and so on. The problem with recreational activities, this gives you joy, this gives you a lifestyle, so it might be a little bit harder to remove those than the others, but we will see eventually. We have all bank activities, and that's of course hard to change a lot of things there, but they produce carbon dioxide. Just to give you an example, the production or the sourcing of bitcoins, they just use more electricity than the country of Albania. This gives you something to think when you think about that amount of energy and what you get out of it. Here we are talking on restaurants and food and hotels, um, which produce carbon dioxide and which I'm using. Your mobile and surfing activities produce carbon dioxide, not the fact that you have a computer running or you have to charge your mobile, but you use servers which somewhere in the world actually draw electricity and produce carbon dioxide. We will look at clothing. We will have to look on your way to live, your housing, your apartment, and so on. Here it's a rather small amount, and the reason for this is that I started with the average Swedish user, and the Swedish consumer usually have electric heat pumps, which have a rather small impact on the environment that could be very different otherwhere in the world. We will have a look on furniture and the production of furniture. Firstly, driving the machinery will produce carbon dioxide. At the same time, you're removing plants which actually can take up carbon dioxide from the environment. So two things which counteract each other. We will have a look on computers and electronics. I think that we agree that it is very difficult to um, not to use these products, but is there any way to reduce the environmental impact? It would be good. So we will look at that as well. Insurances apparently produce a lot of carbon dioxide. This was rather new to me. I have no idea yet, but we will go into that and have a look into that later on. Products based on paper produce carbon dioxide. Probably the same thing like furniture. So you use electricity for producing paper products. At the same time, you're removing trees from the environment, which can take up carbon dioxide. What are those products? These are ads. These are books. These are any type of paper towels or something. So we will have a look on that as well later on. And the final point is education. That is something which I think might be the hardest to reduce. But on the other hand, it's also one of the smallest impact on the environment. So maybe we can compromise here in some way. Anyhow, this is the plan for the next year. We will go through all of them. We start with the biggest first. A video on carbon on commuting is already on its way. Flying and traveling is something we will have to look into. I'm currently doing research on food and which foods could be used in a better way. So those are the three parts which are coming up now, and then we'll build, then we'll continue from there eventually. Thank you very much for listening and watching. So see you again next time.